Oh, what's this? It's huge. Ooh, ooh. Oh, snap, shut up. It just got super 80s up in here. YouTube is a wacky, wacky machine. Just because you subscribe does not mean YouTube's gonna show you anything. So you've got to click the bell. What's up, guys? Today we're gonna go over the Scirocco and find out everything that's wrong with it. So come and check it out. So for all of those of you who saw my first video, yes, I'm still married. I didn't get divorce papers, even though I was asking my wife to be able to use pictures of her bottoms in my thumbnails to help YouTube actually pay attention and see this. But I'm glad you guys all liked it and paid attention. So here it is. It's a 1988 Volkswagen Scirocco 16 valve. This is the second body style and generation of the Scirocco, the first one being the late 70s and early 80s. This particular body style I'm a little more excited about. Come on over here, you can see the profile of it too, if you want. But this is my favorite. When I was a teenager, early college, my dad and I autocrossed an 8-valve version of one of these from 1982, which was the first year of this new body style. Now the 8-valve car versus the 16-valve car, you can notice really quickly, obviously this one says 16-valve on it, so that's a pretty dead giveaway. But the bigger one is these little fender flares and kind of rocker panels. You know it's a 16-valve and a later one because it's got that. Of course, the 16-valve engine makes a little bit more power. It's in the low 100s. It's not massive, but it's a big step up over the 8-valve engines as well. Some of the old racer guys who race SCCA, ITB racing and such, I remember one of them telling me, you don't want a 16-valve, because then if you want to change your camshafts and stuff, you got to buy two. But as a young man, I was like, yes, I do, because I'm not going to be doing all this internal engine work. It's a street car, and it makes more power and looks cooler. So I do like the 16-valve engine. But I wanted to go over the car with you and kind of tell you what's good about it, what's bad about it, and I got to fix. And also, there's a ton of parts in here I want to get out and look at. So I'm going to set the hood back down so you can first see it on the body and such. So this car has not been buffed or waxed in forever. It looks good in pictures, but honestly, it's sort of satin and flat looking. It's really oxidized, so it definitely needs to be buffed out, otherwise known as, by the new people, paint correction. And at the end, something I'm definitely going to ceramic coat with the Avalon King stuff because it's going to bring it back really nicely. The car also has hail damage. There's a bunch of little dings in it, so I'm going to get a good guy out here to float those out, a paintless dent repair guy, and he's going to be able to do a really good job. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buff this car out initially before the paintless dent guy comes. The reason being is those guys need to have the good reflection to be able to see where to bump them out, so to speak. So that's going to be the order I do it in. If you come over here and look, it looks like somebody's rubbed on this already, and this is kind of bumming me out now that I notice this. Actually, it's bumming me out a lot. They burned right through the paint, right here on the edge. So that sucks. That frankly needs to be painted. There's some tiny places where there's rust starting to form, so I got to do something with that and treat it. Frankly, this car is going to need some paint work, which, God, is annoying. But the biggest places it needs paint work are these bumpers. They were shot white, and it sort of matches, but not really, and it's flaking. So I think these are nice Euro bumpers, and I like them a lot. I could potentially strip them, or at least clean them down and just do them in black, and that would be acceptable for the stock car, but frankly, they do look really good in white. So I'd like to find some paint match to spray it, make those look good. Also, the mirrors where they were painted here, these are really faded. So these mirrors either need to be reshot with white or cleaned up and just shot in black, which could be easier. So that's something. As a note, it's sort of funny, the door handles here, which are classic for Volkswagen in the 80s, are literally the exact same door handles that's on the Porsche 944, as are the steering wheel, the stalks for the windshield wipers and the turn signals and the key and everything like that. It's just kind of funny. This car has coilovers on it. It's got these nice BBS wheels. I believe they're 17-inch and pretty new tires, so that's a positive. The other positive, when we look at it here, is the engine bay, as you guys probably noticed, is actually very clean. There's been some maintenance in here, some money cap, looks like a newer battery. All this stuff is clean. It's got some new speed spark plug wire. It's got a Eurosport bar right here. So, you know, some people in the past have spent a little bit of money on it. The belts look rather new. It is missing the timing belt cover, which sort of scares me on a street car because, you know, if something gets loose in here and pops over here, that's enough to pop a timing belt on it. And for all of those of you who have followed Genius Garage, the reason our Indy car blew up last time is the idiots, and it's not us, by the way, the idiots that machined the alternator got the belt pulleys offline. It rolled and then threw and hit the oil dry sump pump belt, popped that off. The warning lights weren't on. So long story short, there was no oiling and it ruined our day. So don't want that to happen. So something to keep in mind, guys. It's okay to keep this so you can see it, but without a cover, you do run some risks. So lots of new things going on here, but what I did notice when I first drove it and when I drove it down here today, it doesn't have enough fuel pressure. It's going lean. It doesn't make good power throughout the band, whether it's cold or warm. On the highway, it was okay, got me down here. Didn't make good power. And then when it was driving harder and you come to a stop sign, they go to take off, it made like no power. It felt like it had no fuel going to it. It was running super lean. So K-Jetronic usually is pretty good in general. Once it's working, it works. And this stuff looks pretty clean and smart. Hold on while I kill my phone. K-Jetronic, once it's running well, generally stays running well, but it's wholly fuel pressure dependent. I mean, as are most fuel systems, but this especially. So a couple of things. Here's the fuel filter. I can take this off, look and see if it's getting all clogged up with crap from inside the tank. That's possible. Also, it has its high PSI pump in the back, I believe somewhere below the passenger side. And then if I'm not mistaken, this car also has, I got a tip from the mechanic guy that looked after it, it has another electric pump that's lower pressure that gets the fuel from the tank to the higher pressure one. So my gut feeling is first, I know it sounds silly, I'm gonna check the fuel filter, see if there's anything wacky going on with that, make sure that's clean. I'm also gonna check the fuel pumps. Actually, I probably just check the fuel pumps first, make sure they're getting PSI. And I do have a Bosch K-Jetronic kit if those things fail. It may be a real obvious fix and then everything's pretty happy. But I do have a K-Jetronic kit if it's being more mysterious that I can plug into the input where the fuel is going in and whatnot, check the fuel pressure and see what's going on. So we got to figure that out to dial it in. Otherwise, you know, it's got a lot of miles on it. The car's got like 200,000 miles on it. And the lifter's a little loud. As a note, because I did this video, and come on, take a look at the back, we'll start getting stuff out of it. As a note, a couple of the past owners have seen the car and reached out to me. One guy's a Volkswagen enthusiast. He was really excited, lives in Ohio now. And he said he was the one to save this car. It was originally owned, I guess, by a woman who had it for a decade or so, and then an engineer for another decade. And it was kept inside, so it never really went to pot. And obviously some people have put a little love into it, but it needs new strut braces. So we got some parts here. Let's look and see what we got. Yay, new pneumatic shocks. I need those right now. Weather stripping, looks to be a silicone radiator hose. That's really great. This is a trim piece. I think this is like an eyebrow kind of thing that goes under the hood in the front, maybe, if I remember correctly. Oh, this is funky. Looks like a heater core. Okay, well, that's cool. That's brand new. All right. We got another grill here, a 16 valve grill. I'm not sure why this one's on it. Looks like it was shaved or something weird. So maybe that's why it's not being used. Some interior stuff. Looks like there's a light, some metal thing. Looks like distributor cap cover. Lots of odds and ends. Looks like a vacuum actuator of some kind, a battery for something, some trim piece. Okay, so nothing that exciting. Let's see what else we got. Come on. Looks like here's another door to the glove box. Looks like I've got an engine kit. It's got a head gasket actually in it. Looks like a valve cover gasket. Looks like we got valve guides, valve seals, and just a bunch of the gaskets we need. So that's helpful in case we want to crack into it, maybe replace lifters, or if I want to have the head refresh. And I've never seen such a thing for a Volkswagen. I feel like this is like the lead thing you have at a dentist to keep their x-rays off of you. I don't know, it's probably radioactive. Okay, also by the way, if I'm critical about anything on this, I am in no way being critical of past owners. I think everybody had a lot of love for this car and did a good job. I'm just gonna take it to the next level. So please, if I sound negative about anything in particular, that's just my personality, trying to fix things up and make them right. Oh, what's this? It's huge. Ooh, ooh. Oh, snap, shut up. It just got Super 80s up in here. Does that actually fit? What's that for? Oh, yes. Random 80s crap. Is this actually for a Scirocco? Come on. Oh, yes. I don't know if I like this. I'm just excited at how ridiculous it is. I'll have to look at it. Ooh. I don't know if I like that at all, but I didn't know that existed. That is sort of awesomely terrible, which is like the entirety of the 1980s. Okay, well, you know, we got a thing. You want to look at it from the side? It is awesomely terrible. It sort of matches the wing. I don't know. That seems, I could trim it, trim like the flashing, maybe make it look a little bit better. Autoplus, that's cool. I didn't know this existed. All right, we're learning. We are learning together. It's the 80s. It is always the 80s at Casey's 80s Garage. Yes. See this piece of wood with nails in it? That's also from the 80s. Okay, I'm excited. What's this? I don't know, but it says Mazda on it, so probably don't like it. For a Volkswagen anyway. I forget what you call it, like the molding trim, which would go on here. Now somebody wanted to take this off, and they got it off, but the problem is they took the paint with it underneath. So if I can get away with not doing much paint work on this, then this, I'm gonna have to do some paint underneath this because you don't want the primer really to be exposed. So I'm not sure how much I'm gonna be able to save the paint on this, or if I'm gonna have to do paint work, I don't know. But so here's the door molding, which is good because I need that. Unless, of course, it gets painted and then we take it off, which also would look really good, especially on a clean white Scirocco. Okay, so this is like a center console, but I feel like this is for a Corrado. It's big and poofy. And this car does have Corrado seats in it. So, in fact, here's the old Corrado headrest, which will not be going in because it's obviously not a Corrado. These are back seats, which now has me slightly concerned because the Scirocco back seats are totally different than the Corrado. And I'm hoping that the back seats I got aren't for a Corrado and just completely don't fit, because that would be annoying. I hope that I got ones for a Scirocco, which actually fit. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I had a black Scirocco when I was in college. Obviously it's cracked 2 places. It's not the worst I've ever seen. Okay, so there's that. I got this. Here's another one. That's probably important. All right, this, if I'm not mistaken, yes, that's right. This is the, all right. Okay, good. It looks like I do have the Scirocco seats in the back. Hopefully that'll be good. Hey, if anybody wants some black leather rear Corrado seats that are pretty good, I've got some that I'm not gonna use. Just heads up. Okay, so here goes the Scirocco. Oh, now that's interesting. I take it all back. Something here is from the Scirocco. Okay, that's kind of bizarre. So this is split. Wait a minute. Maybe these are Scirocco seats. Is this? Huh. I don't know, you guys. So come here and look at this. I guess I didn't remember this properly. Maybe that is Scirocco stuff. So there's where the seats go in, right? You get down here on the floor, see that? Okay. So, huh. I guess this is the Scirocco bottom? Let's see. Let's find out. I guess I don't remember this well enough. Maybe I'm wrong. Going in the window. Don't hurt it, Casey. Oh, look at that. What do you know? That fits. Here, I'll open up the door. Okay. Well, that's cool. I don't mind being wrong. As long as I come out smelling like roses. Okay. And those are actually leather. That's not bad. Okay. I forgot about this. I thought Corrados or Scirocco's had little bucket seats in the back. I guess not. Okay. Yeah, that's really tight. But you can do it. Okay, that's cool. Okay, this makes more sense to me now as to why I told you that petite girl that was in the back when I went zooming around the corner when I was in college went tumbling, because it's like a bench seat in the back. Not a good bench seat from the 50s that you can, you know, find an effective place if you have young women in the car. Anyway, let's go see what's in the passenger side. Okay, so now we've got a trunk. We've got back seats. That's good. They're not in bad shape. They're leather, so we can treat them, get them softer and nicer. Looks like it's split a little bit here, but I can do something with that pretty easy. Got the deck lid, and we got new shocks we can put on. Okay, so that's helpful. We're getting somewhere. All right, what do we got in here? Be something cool. Okay, it's a blower for the climate system. Probably there because the one in the car doesn't work. Sun visor, so the dash doesn't crack. Oh, yes! Here's the timing belt cover. I think I'm gonna put that back on. I know some people like to take those off because they want to check them all the time, and that's cool. And also racing cars do that. But let's face it, this is a street car, and I got nothing to prove. Just want to keep it from going. Oh, yes! Ooh, Euro headlights. This is gold. Okay, Euro front turn signals. Okay, so let's go look at this up front, guys. Okay, come on up front. Don't drop it, don't drop it. I don't even know if you can get these anymore. Probably not. Okay, so these are American headlights for the Scirocco, and you guys will recognize these. This is the same size headlights that were used on everything from Camaros, DeLoreans, you name it. There was also round ones, and back in the 80s, I don't know if it was a DOT thing, it's actually really smart. There was only so many sizes of headlights, and you could just buy a whole one, or you could change the bulb, and they went in. That's why, you know, 80s cars have headlights that are all styled similarly, you know, which is just part of the time period. And whether it's round or rectangular, the automaker would design the car to go with it, and it worked out just well, and it was not expensive, which there's a lot of good things to say about it. But these are the super sought after Euro ones. I don't know, it's probably just sought after because they're different, but they give the car a different look, sort of fills it in more. In some ways, I like the American ones better because that's what I grew up around and that's what I like. But these are the Euro ones, so that'd be pretty cool. And these are the Euro bumpers, so maybe I should go full Euro on it. But that's exciting. I forgot that it came with Euro lights. Hooray. Now these Euro front turn signals are not in the best shape in the world. They both are kind of busted at the edges, but fortunately, these are Euro turn signals. See how they're like smoother and they fit the contour? The American ones stick out and are pretty dumb looking for no good reason. The American DOT laws in the 80s with lights and stuff was stupid. Like, it's just stupid. I don't know what to tell you, which is also the reason why DeLoreans, when they were stock, the front nose sat high. And baby boomers like, it looks dumb because it sits high. Well, it's the stupid American DOT regulations. They changed the regulations on DeLorean, and they couldn't just redesign the whole car to change the bumper height, so they put on taller springs to pass the regulations. And then when you get the car, if you want to change the springs, and it brings it down to where the manufacturer wanted it to be, where it drives great and looks great too. Just a little factoid there for you guys. But anyway, let's take a look at these Corrado seats real quick. Come on over. You looking this way, I'll jump in on the other side. Fortunately, they're in nice condition. They're not screwed up on the bolsters. Obviously, it's black leather. This is a little dried out, but I think they can be brought back pretty quickly. But I'm gonna really wanna get kind of aggressive with getting some moisture in there for them properly. The other thing I like about these seats is they haven't been sprayed with like that fancy paint, so they're not totally sealed up. So these should accept you know, some proper leather treatment and moisturizer type stuff and really come back. Although I noticed this one isn't latching. Wait, maybe it's latching correctly now. Come on, latch. Yeah, it's not latching for some reason. Well, I guess that's gonna be something I gotta fix. You gonna latch? Ooh, that didn't feel right. It's sort of latched. Is it even attached? Oh, everything that just happened seems bad. Hold on. Oh, that just has not gone well. Okay, it seems that it's totally come off the tracks. Maybe Corrado seats are not meant for Scirocco's at all, and these weren't even bolted down. Okay, yeah, that is not gone. That's not gone well. Wow, what on earth? Okay, so there's like a weird pin here. Huh. Oh, and does that, wait. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, hold on. I think we'll get this, you guys. Here we go. So as not to bore you guys to tears right now, but the seats are gonna be good. The back feel nice. They just need a little bit. The interior is generally pretty good. I will say, if you look at the top, the sun visors look like total trash. They go bad on the inside, and it's like, Looks like it's moldy or something. Might be able to reuse those, might not. The sunroof I will probably take out. It's wrapped with this funky flannel, which I guess when they did it was the 90s or something, was in style, but I would prefer that be white like the rest of the headliner. The rest of the headliner is in kind of condition. Looks like there was a rip in the back. So honestly, if you want it to be really right, it needs a new headliner. But the rest of it looks pretty good. So I might just clean it up, kind of patch that spot and tidy that up. So I think that'll look good. The interior is generally pretty nice. I think I'm gonna actually just leave the stock steering wheel just because it's super 80s Volkswagen, and that's kind of the nicer one. The dashboard's generally pretty good, needs some protectant on it. There's some tiny cracks starting, so I wanna make sure I keep the sun visor in it and all. It also has no radio, which is odd. There's literally no radio. Hopefully that'll work. I would be okay with putting in a stock radio. It's got an oil temperature gauge, which also makes no sense because I'd rather have an oil pressure gauge. The two most important ancillary gauges are water temperature and oil pressure. Lots of cars don't have oil pressure on it because I guess they're like, well, you know, I guess they don't care. And maybe you don't want to see it. If it runs well and it's not making noises and it's got oil pressure, then you're fine and just drive it. But those are two gauges. So I'd like to have an oil pressure gauge in it. Obviously the gas gauge is important. And the speedo cable drive is really loud and obnoxious. Actually, it was only like that when it was cold when I got it. When I drove it today, it didn't make any noise. So that might be a temperature thing. I do seem to remember when I had one back then, those things would howl when they were cold. So I'm gonna come back to this, guys. We're gonna buff this out on the next one, start going to town, which will probably make me sad because I'll see how bad the paint actually is. They totally burned through the top of this door that you guys remember. Come here and look, you can see it. So the paint's super thin. There's just no way around that without painting it. This door stripping's starting to come loose, so I don't know. I probably have to try to get I'm gonna have to get a good paint match because I'm gonna have to do these bumpers, and there's some spots like this. So, oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe, and you know, frankly, if you look at the hood here and I buff it out, that paint looks really thin too. Like it's been buffed on and gone through, so heck and gosh. I hate to say that the car needs to be painted, but it kind of needs to be painted. I don't know. The other thing I could do is touch it up if I get a good match of the paint. Yeah, and see, if you look here, it's super thin too. I mean, it's totally just burned through these edges. I mean, it's so thin, it's starting to look dark and dismal because you can see through to the primer. There's like nothing left. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. Kind of sucks a lot. And frankly, with how this molding was removed so aggressively and they went through to primer, I think I'm gonna have to paint on this car. That's annoying. It's really annoying. Sometimes people need to leave well enough alone. Like, I have a feeling somebody wanted to go for a cool look by taking this off, but they did it and shoot up all the paint along the way. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe some of this will buff out okay, and then the places where it's thin, I can get a really good match to the paint and just shoot sections. If it's a really good match, hopefully it'll come around. But at the same time too, white's pretty easy. And if I can do a respray of the whole car reasonably, that would be nice. That's also the opportunity to decide if you even want to put the door trim back on, because it looks pretty cool just clean and white, you know, or if you want to put it back on. I think if I painted it fresh, I'd be inclined to take it off. So we shall see. But in any way, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed looking at the Volkswagen Scirocco. Naturally, please subscribe. But YouTube is a wacky, wacky machine. Just because you subscribe does not mean YouTube's going to show you anything. So you've got to click the bell. Click the bell so I can bring you guys awesome content the whole way. Naturally, share this. I hope you guys will comment. If you got any tips you want to tell me, awesome. If you just want to talk about it, great. Please comment. I do look at them all. But I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
There are many tools, tricks, and products that help me do all these automotive adventures. And one of them is ceramic coating by Avalon King. This stuff literally bonds to the molecular level of your paint to keep that long-lasting shine for years. And better than any old conventional wax literally can. Nobody actually has time for wax on, wax off anymore. So give Avalon King a try. You can go down in the description, buy some. You're going to be glad you did.